Hey, I'm David McCree. I'm a CPA and I specialize in working with nonprofit tax-exempt organizations. And today I want to talk to you about your Form 990 and your relationship with your tax return preparer. Who prepares your tax return? Who monitors the due date? Who's responsible for monitoring the due date and making sure the return is filed on time? Well, the courts say that the taxpayer is responsible and that duty cannot be shifted to an agent like a CPA or an attorney. There's actually a court case, United States versus Boyle, where an executor of an estate depended on an attorney to file the estate tax return on time. The attorney missed the deadline and there were penalties. Taxpayer tried to blame the attorney and the judge said no, any ordinary person of average intelligence can figure out what the due date is and make sure that the attorney or the preparer gets it filed by the due date. And so that shifting the blame to the preparer was not reasonable cause. Okay, and that's pretty scary. But I deal with cases all the time where I'm able to help the organization successfully blame their CPA or tax return preparer. And I also work with CPAs and preparers all the time who just goofed and missed the deadline, and I help them get out of having to pay those penalties. I have tremendous success rates with that, above 95%. So here's the lesson. If you are an organization, you're depending on someone else to prepare your return, make sure that you get proof of filing or proof of that an extension was filed. Okay, so that means if it was filed on paper, you need to have a copy of the document that was filed, plus a certified mail, hand-stamped at the post office, a receipt showing the date that it was filed, with notations on there of what was filed. If it was electronically filed, you need to still get a copy of what was filed, and you need to get some sort of a printout from the software that was used showing that the return was actually, or the extension was actually received and accepted by the IRS. That way, if the IRS comes back at you and says, hey, you didn't file the return or you didn't file a valid extension, you have the proof, okay, that either you filed it or that your preparer filed it. If you're a preparer, you need to provide that information voluntarily to your client and explain to them what the importance is of keeping that and that they should expect that from you every year. Make sure that they know that if they haven't received proof of filing from you within a day or two of the due date, or perhaps even by the due date, that they should be on the phone to you saying, hey, what's going on? Did you file my return? Where's my proof? Okay. Now, if all of this has failed you, in other words, if you haven't done all those things and you don't have proof, or if your CPA missed the deadline, don't worry about it. Okay. I successfully blame CPAs all the time, and I successfully help CPAs get out from under those penalties all the time, even if they really don't have a good reason. You know, they just goofed. So if you're in that situation, hope is not lost. You're probably not going to have to pay that penalty. Just get in touch with me. You can find me on the web at form990help.com. You can send me an email at cpa@form990help.com or davidmccreecpa@gmail.com. I look forward to helping you not pay those ridiculous penalties to the IRS.